Good morning and welcome to the fourth episode of the Ziburi Round Corner. I am Lebogang Mashego and I'm the head of projects here at Ziburi Growth Partners, where we talk all things ESG because we love to. Today we'll be talking about a very important topic in the line of work that we do, which is diagnostics. In the industry, you call it business health check, a gap assessment, or whatever the case. But here we call it a business diagnostic. And I will be unpacking this topic with our resident project manager, Lisa Mavundla. How are you, ma'am?
Morning, Devakang. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I don't think I've ever asked you why you do transformation work. Why small business development?
I think I've always been passionate about working with SMEs. I've always been passionate about creating a conducive environment for entrepreneurs to thrive, especially Black entrepreneurs. I believe they're the future of the country in terms of job creation, so it's all invested in.
All right. So, what exactly is a business diagnostic? What does it mean?
So a business diagnostic is a health check. It's a check where we assess the business in its entirety, from the day-to-day operations right through to the financials of the business. This is where we review the business to determine what isn't working versus what is working, and then we highlight the pain points of the business and start working towards developing them or working through them with the SME.
All right. And then, where does it fall in the bigger scheme of things? So, here's this diagnostic. Do you just spring a diagnostic on someone? Where does it fall in terms of the work that we do?
Mm. So we have a process that we undergo. So once we've completed the recruitment process, we then go into onboarding. So the onboarding process is where we officially welcome all program participants into the program. We say you are on an ED program or you're on an ST program, or an EST program. And then we always encourage for the onboarding process to happen in person so that the participants on the program can engage with the client, and they know what the client does, as well as also familiarize themselves with who else is on the program for networking purposes. Once this program is being complete, when this process is being completed, we also go through the program KPIs so that everybody in the program knows what to achieve. Once that process has been completed, we immediately move on to the diagnostic process. This is a three-step process that we undergo, and then we almost engage with the beneficiary in terms of when they're available to undergo these diagnostic assessments.
Um, why? Why is it important to do a business diagnostic? Why should I care whether I'm an SME, whether I'm the client or corporate? Why is it important to do a business diagnostic?
It's important to do a business diagnostic because a lot of the time, the entrepreneurs on our program come into the program with already an idea of what they think are the pain points in their business, and they seem to neglect other aspects of the business that need equal attention. So a lot of the time, people, when they see us or they know that we ESD managers, they go, "I need funding, I need funding, I need funding," and we're saying, if you do get grant funding, do you know what to do with it? So this is why it's important to have an idea of exactly what the pain points are. So it's essentially kind of like a doctor's check, where you go to the doctor and the doctor assesses you and says, look, this is working, this isn't working, and they're able to prescribe exactly for the pain points that you are experiencing.
Okay. But what are the Lego pieces?
Mm.
So here's this thing that you say you want to do on me. Um, what exists in this little basket of diagnostics?
Mm.
What is the process?
So we pursue a three-step process. This is firstly starts off as the site visit. The site visit is imperative because this is where we do a fact-finding mission. We verify, is the business who they say they are? Do they have the number of employees that they have? Does the business run the way that they say that it does on a day-to-day basis? This is an in-person interaction with the SME. We go into their physical premises and assess certain aspects of the business. We then move on to a holistic business assessment, as I've previously indicated, where we check everything from the operations, we interrogate the business concepts, the financials, the runnings of the business in its entirety. So we're able to pin down exactly where the business is lacking or where attention hasn't been given equally. And then lastly, we do an entrepreneurial aptitude. Now, an entrepreneurial aptitude is important because this is where we get to know who the entrepreneur is behind the business. We believe that you are a person more than anything, and that your experience and your background plays an important role in terms of how you make decisions and how you run the business on a day to day. Also, how you engage with colleagues, how you engage with potential clients. So, during the aptitude assessment, we look at things like, do you have an ecosystem that supports you? Should the business potentially fail, do you have mentors that, or a gray hair industry expert that you go to that supports you? Are you the first entrepreneur in your family? Does your family know what you do? Do you have the support that you need? So yeah, it's a 3-step process. It's quite a rigorous process that we do, but it's important so that we know exactly and we don't make any mistakes going forward.
Okay, so it's a site visit, an entrepreneurial aptitude assessment,
Yes,
and then the actual business assessment.
yes, exactly.
Um, which of those do you think is an eye opener for the SMMEs? Which one do they go through and then they feel like, this is interesting. I didn't think I would learn so much from this activity.
I think all three processes are in some way eye opening. I think the most interesting one to the SME that we work with is the entrepreneur aptitude. A lot of the time, they finish it quite quickly, and then when they come back to us and when we have to unpack the entrepreneur aptitude, they will say, "This feels like a therapy session." Why does it
Mm.
feel like a therapy session? Because a lot of the time when you're an entrepreneur, there's this whole notion of let's grind, let's keep going. You push your emotions aside, but you are a person more than anything, and how you grew up has an impact on you as a person. The biases that you face, the microaggressions that you deal with,
Mm.
those are all important in terms of how you create a sustainable and conducive environment for your own business to thrive.
Okay. To our viewers, please remember to drop your comments or queries in the comment section, and then we'll do our best to respond to them at the end of the session. So back to you, Lisa. So fine, now you know that I had childhood issues,
Mhm.
and then I have a headache now, and whatever the case
Mm.
is. What do you do with this information? What do you do with all of these issues that you found within my business?
Okay, so once we've finished the 3-step process, we put together documents that we call the diagnostic report. So a diagnostic report is a combination of all these 3 steps that we've gone through. We put them down. So it's a summary of the site visit, how it went, what we believe is true versus what is not true. Then we almost tell a story of how we got to the exact growth areas slash focus areas that we're going to be embarking on over the next couple of months. We tell the story of how we think it's a pain point versus if the SME itself does think it's an issue. And then we narrow them down to top 3 or 4 focus areas. We then also make recommendations in terms of what the next steps are for the individual business slash SME. And then we almost map out a journey going forward, which is what we call a growth plan. So it's an all-encompassing report where you're able to see, hey, this is not going right. Hey, this is not going right. Oh, okay, they've recommended that. Now I know what I'm about to participate in.
Um, so, as a potential client or an ESD manager or someone that's responsible for enterprise supply development, I receive this report,
Mm,
right? I've never seen a report like this before.
mm,
I don't even know if I should care about this report.
mm,
How do I engage with this report? What
mm.
is it that I'm supposed to look at? What is it that I'm supposed to look out for in a diagnostic report?
Mm. So you typically, a client will receive a number of diagnostic reports depending on the number of participants that are on the program. If you are a client, we recommend that you look at uh, site visit information, know where the business is in proximity to where you are, so that if you do want to do a site visit or you do want to visit where the business is, you can. It gives you a direct access to the SME. Know what the SME does. So you look at a summary of their business, and what their strengths are. Look at also their pain points and say, okay, this is what they're going to be focusing on over the next few months. It's important to know as well, so that even when you're representing your organization at board meetings, etc., you're able to speak on what the challenges that the ESD program is addressing. And then just also the growth plans. What is the journey going forward? What are the series of interventions that are going to be allocated to each SME? And then as the SME slash entrepreneur, you need to know what the conclusion on the pain points are. So we always want our entrepreneurs to be malleable. When I say malleable, I say be flexible in terms of what you believe are the problems versus what
Mm,
we identify as the problems.
yes.
Um, don't be fixated on a way of doing things. Yeah. So that's what we recommend the SME does. We also do go through the diagnostic report with the actual SME, and we say familiarize yourself with it. This is what these are the next steps in terms of the process. Also, query if you have any questions. Yeah.
Do you find that SMEs and clients find the document valuable? So is it something that you can take and say, this is, um, the medical report,
Mm,
for lack of a better example, for my
mm,
business? Is
mm.
it valuable?
Mm. The diagnostic report is incredibly valuable. It's almost like a blueprint in terms of your journey on the ESD program. So it's something that we encourage the SMEs to familiarize themselves with quite a bit, because then they know that over the next couple of months, I'm going to be pursuing these interventions, and this is how they play a role in terms of the progress of my business.
Mm. So I do a lot of work with program design. I mean, my core function in the
Mm,
business, and I design programs, I review them, I recommend what's broken and what's not. And I find that clients almost want the program to be defined right at the beginning,
mm,
What is this program? What's going to be in it? What are the interventions? And then you get to diagnostics, and then it looks like the interventions might look a little different.
mm,
Do you think that this is the point where we must review and refine the program design?
mm. So yes, because like you were saying, there's always, in terms of our processes, there's always encouragement to map out what the program looks like,
Mm.
from the onset. But the once we've concluded the diagnostics, we encourage that let's align the client's objectives with the exact need of the SME and the beneficiary of the program. There's no point in designing a program, but it doesn't address the actual needs of the business.
Mm.
So this is where we tailor make the program in order to directly have an impact onto the actual SME. So that we don't come back with SMEs disgruntled a couple of months later saying, you said that I have these problems, but you haven't addressed them. Yeah. So this is, yeah, we align objectives and expectations on particularly in this phase.
Yes, and I agree with you. If you know anything about the work that I do, is that I want value, right? So I
Mm,
want SMEs to gain value, and I want clients to get value from the
yes.
program. So it must be valuable for everyone.
Yes.
So fine, I have this report now, and I'm happy. I know what the program is going to look like. I'm the client. I'm happy. I've given you approval. Then what?
Okay. Then once you've received your diagnostic reports and you've thoroughly engaged with it, you've asked the implementation partner slash team certain questions that you maybe were uncomfortable with, then it is our job to, as ESD managers, to start making recommendations. And from the recommendations that we make, we pair the SME with industry experts, who are able to equip the SME with skills that they need in order for their businesses to thrive. So these are called interventions. The interventions vary. So potentially you have learning and development as an intervention, industry compliance, particularly maybe if you have tax issues or compliance issues, marketing and branding, or software tools so that we enhance your operational efficiency, any kind of equipment that you need, we align you for your business, and we give you someone to work with or a mentor that you need to guide you through the process. It's over a couple of months that we'll be reviewing your business, having check-ins with the actual entrepreneur to determine that they're still deriving value from the program. What else can we do?
And do you think that SMEs feel like they're part of the process? So, what say do I have in either the diagnostic process or
Mm,
in my diagnostic report? Do I sign it off? What am I part of this thing?
mm.
Where are SMEs in the yes and the no of these interventions?
Look, I mean, there's quite a few areas where, or maybe times where you can interject in terms of the process. But I, as much as we do encourage you to have an opinion, and obviously it's your business at the end of the day, there's only so much we can do without your buy-in. But we have a process that works. We've had a lot of program participants coming through our programs. We've got success stories. Check out our website. But if you do interject with a particular intervention, then you have to motivate to us. We did have an SME recently that said, look, I understand that this is a need for my business, but in terms of the greater scheme of things, would it be possible to redirect this allocation to this? And we had a conversation about it as the project team, and we said, look, we hear him. And then we were able to kind of start the process with to pursue that particular intervention with the SME. So there are ways that we are flexible as well. in terms of assisting with the interventions.
Yes, yes. And what SMEs feel like
Yeah.
is important to them.
Mm.
And then what are the typical challenges? So, I'm the client or I'm the SMME. What challenges do you find that you face during this diagnostic process?
Mm.
What are the typical things that are problems?
Mm. So from a client perspective, we barely experience problems. They kind of let us do what we need to do,
Mm,
and I mean it's a tried and tested method. But from an SME perspective, we do experience things from I'm not available
mm.
right through to when we're finishing. I often find that entrepreneurs are always so busy, so chasing them for their time is
Yeah.
always such an issue. And then also potentially SMEs not agreeing with some of the interventions that we've allocated with them. A lot of them do feel like, no, that problem isn't my problem.
Mm,
My problem is X. But then you realize if we allow the SMEs to almost dictate, then it comes back to bite us in the end, and
mm,
it's now like a bigger problem.
mm,
So yeah, those are some of the challenges that we do experience. And then SME fatigue, entrepreneurship fatigue,
mm.
where initially they start off with so much energy on the
Mm.
program. They're like, yay, this
Yes.
ESD program is going to change my business, going to change my trajectory. And then they kind of start feeling like, okay, I'm kind of too busy for this.
Mm.
And then, so it's important for us to, map out what the process is right from off the bat.
Yeah.
Talk to the SME in terms of what will be required from them in terms of participation and contribution, and then also sign agreements in advance to say, look, we need you to participate. We can't offboard you if you haven't completed this.
Yeah. So the onboarding process is important, really. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's important to have everybody in the room and you agree that
Yeah.
you're gonna commit.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna happen, and
Hmm.
this is the objective of the program.
Yes.
Right. And then any questions from the audience? Um, how are training and development on a database of training providers? Um, how do training and
Development.
um,
Get onto the database of training providers. Yeah.
okay. So yeah, look, it's not a difficult process, but it is a very closed net process. We do encourage working with a panel of service providers, but we do want it to be very specific to our needs.
Yeah.
So you can always email us
Mm.
info@zivoliGP.com, and then we'll have a look at your profile.
Yeah.
Right, and then any closing comments? What is this important thing that you want ESD managers to take away
Mm.
from the process?
Mm. I think more than anything for me would be, as an ESD manager, it's so easy to want to skip the diagnostic process. It's tedious, it's rigorous.
Mm,
We always need to align with the SME on the program. It's always easier to just go directly to the entrepreneur and say, what do you need? You know
mm,
your business very well. What do you need?
yes.
And then you kind of move in that direction with the interventions. But it does have a ripple effect, So if at the end they realize that, look, what I thought was what I wanted isn't what the business needs.
Mm,
And then you kind of get into trouble with that. Money's already been spent on the SME, and now they're saying they're not deriving any value from the program. So don't skip the diagnostic process. Make sure you've got buy-in from both the clients and the SME, so that it's almost like a cohesive process going forward.
yes, it's really an alignment process more than
Yes,
anything. Let's
yes.
all agree, let's all get on the same page,
Mm.
and let's all know the roadmap or the plan of the program going forward.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. I think that's it from us. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Zivoli Round Corner. And remember, Zivoli exists to bridge the gap between SMEs and corporate so that supplier diversity can be business as usual. Thank you. Until next time.